Hello, everybody. My name is Patrick Dennis. I'm the president and CEO of Consumer Technology Solutions, and I wanted to bring you your October 2021 Cybersecurity Awareness Training. And just so you know, it is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and so it's really the month that we want to kind of hammer down on some pretty good tips in the cybersecurity world, and just look at some statistics and go over the threats that exist today, and hopefully provide you with guidance on how to handle those threats moving forward. So without further ado, let's go over some statistics. So 34% of data breaches in 2018 involved internal actors. 228 days is the average length of time to identify a data security breach, according to a 2020 report. The global average cost of a data breach is $3.9 million. Holy crap, that's a lot of money. Okay, 23% of data breaches are caused by human error. A cyber attack worldwide occurs once every 39 seconds. 38% of users have passwords that never expire, and that's a big no-no. You need to be changing your passwords at least every 6 months, if not every 90 days. Okay, more than 1,000 data breaches occur in the US alone each year, and 48% of malicious attachments are Microsoft Office files. And that is a really big one because, I mean, all of us have probably gotten one of these emails that said pay an invoice, and you're like, what invoice? So you open the Word document that they send or the Excel spreadsheet that they send, and there it goes. All of a sudden your computer starts to have issues, starts to run slower, you just have problems. And little did you know, you just downloaded a virus onto your computer. So I want to give a few tips on how we can prevent a data breach. And again, not everything is foolproof either. You have to run these practices in parallel to get the most effective security. But even with doing that, there's still a chance you could become compromised. So the 5 critical tips that I give anybody is to set strong passwords, use multi-factor or multi-stage authentication, keep your devices up to date, be aware of phishing scams, and engage parental controls for our home users. Okay, on the set of strong passwords, if your password for everything is like password 123, then it's probably time you change it. Okay, one of the most common ways for hackers to break into accounts is simply by guessing passwords. And hacking software starts with the most common password choices. So if you have a glaringly obvious password, your online security is at a much greater risk. A strong password should contain a good mixture of uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols where allowed. Now, don't set something so complicated that you can't remember it. If you can think of a good phrase and just throw in a few special characters and numbers, you should be fine. Okay? And ideally, you should set a different password for everything. So if you find yourself struggling to keep track of those passwords, then I would recommend that you get a password manager of some type to store all that. Okay, multi-factor authentication. So this is where you enter a password and then the system triggers for you to receive an email or a text message that contains a security code. And then you have to enter that security code. A lot of people don't use these, but it's highly recommended. This stops anyone who manages to hack your password from entering your account. I mean, unless they've hacked your phone and done a whole lot more sophisticated things, multi-factor authentication is one of the #1 ways to prevent people from accessing your account without your permission. Item 3, keeping your devices up to date. I stress this to everybody. Always keep the operating system up to date. Always keep the web browser up to date, and always keep any antivirus or anti-malware tools up to date. The 4th item on here is to be aware of phishing scams. Now, phishing scams are some of the most commonly fallen for online scams, especially by the older generation who haven't grown up with the internet. In phishing scams, you'll be sent a link, generally via email, that takes you to a website that looks superficially legitimate. It then prompts you to enter your email address and password, and may even prompt you to enter more sensitive data, like your bank account details or credit card number. And now, armed with this information, scammers can log into your online accounts and potentially spend money or transfer money out of your bank account without your consent. Phishing scams can look genuine and appear to come from legitimate companies, but there are some telltale signs. Look out for emails that look off, and always double check the email address. If it doesn't come from the domain of the company in question, it's a scam. Also remember that your bank or legitimate companies usually won't ask you to enter sensitive information. And the fifth point here is to engage parental controls. Staying safe online isn't just about keeping your data safe and avoiding scams. There are people online who want to exploit young and vulnerable people. If you're worried about the online safety of your kids or grandkids, make sure to set parental controls on any websites they use and routinely check their devices for suspicious communication. Other common tips that we would give people to protect their information and to avoid viruses, malware, to avoid hackers, is to do not open any emails with attachments that are not from a trusted source. Keep your computer and network up to date and clean from clutter. Routine antivirus scans and anti-malware scans. Back up your files regularly and use the 3-2-1 rule, which is fairly simple. 3 copies of your data, 2 copies on a different storage media, and 1 copy offsite, preferably in the cloud. Okay? Be careful when you're sharing information, links, and other resources. Okay? So feel free to share links and information. Just be conscious about where it's coming from and who you're sending it to. And then, of course, always be cautious about using public Wi-Fi hotspots, as they are usually not protected by any type of firewall device or any type of antivirus system. We've got to take a cybersecurity first approach. By 2025, it is estimated that there will be more than 41.6 billion internet connected devices. Cybersecurity should not in any way ever be an afterthought. So should never be an afterthought. Cybersecurity should always be first when it comes to anything that we do technologically. And as businesses and organizations, this should be a primary concern. If cybersecurity is not a concern, if you're not worried about the protection of your documents and data that you store locally or in the cloud, then you've got the wrong mindset. And everybody has this common tendency to believe that, oh, I store it in the cloud, it's safe and secure. And whoever you're storing it with may have cybersecurity systems in place to protect that data, but if you're not protecting your network and your computers, then hackers can use your connection to the internet to compromise your data. Okay? They don't have to hack Dropbox directly. They can hack you to get into your Dropbox. That's a big misconception that we get in the cybersecurity world is, oh, well, we connect to our vendor XYZ in the cloud and they store all of our data. ShareFile, Dropbox, any of the, OneDrive, everyone thinks, oh, it's got to be secure because I'm putting it there. Well, if they tried to hack Microsoft directly or Dropbox directly, they might have trouble. But if they hack you, then they're going to get into that information anyway. So cybersecurity to protect your own network has to be a priority. Big phrase here. Be more than aware. Be smart. Each new connected device you use and online account you establish increases your attack surface. So your attack surface is the area in which hackers can attack you, okay? And the more accounts you have, the more that they're able to access your data or access your information, okay? So again, each new connected device or each new online account that you establish increases your attack surface and provides cyber criminals with another potential point of entry. Any device that connects to the internet is vulnerable to risks. In essence, if you can connect it or if you connect it, you need to protect it. The best defense is to keep your device's software, browser, and operating system up to date. Okay? Passwords don't have to be this complicated. Use a phrase to create a lengthy, unique, and memorable password. Okay? It needs to be lengthy, okay, like it says, but it doesn't have to be as complicated as that one right there. That's in the sentence there. You know, it could be the brown fox jumped over the road. Just throw a few capitals in there, throw a special symbol and a number or two, but you don't have to change every little thing. I mean, you could literally have your password as $ I love money, and on money capitalize the M, turn the O to a 0, turn the E to a 3, and be done. It's simple. You didn't change every little thing. You made a phrase and you made a few minor changes to it. There you go. You could even use a solid sentence without any numbers or special characters, but most systems require a number or two, special character, capital, lowercase. So again, keep it simple. You could even use that as your password. Keep it simple. Capital K, the 2 E's in keep can be 3's, and then the I in it can be an exclamation point, and you're done. Keep it simple. Everything else can be spelled commonly. So again, no single tip is foolproof, but practicing them in parallel is the best way to maintain good online hygiene and protect yourself and the people and networks with whom you connect. Okay, it's the best way. Put cybersecurity first for privacy. Statistically speaking, phishing emails are the leading cause of data privacy incidents, but stolen credentials, malware, and denial of service attacks are also common culprits, as well as privilege abuse and mishandling of data. Okay? As an employee, knowing how to identify potential threats to data privacy and understanding data handling best practices should never be optional. It's a responsibility that must be taken seriously. It's a common fault in businesses to abuse cybersecurity, to abuse training employees in cybersecurity. If we don't start training our staff on how to be safe, we're going to be very much so compromised, because humans, people, end users, business owners alike, are the weakest link in cybersecurity. As a technology advisor, as your technology, as your IT company, as your consultant, I like to be very thorough, but even I can make mistakes, which is why we have insurance. But it's my job to make sure that I'm taking care of each and every one of my clients to the fullest extent that I can. And we have to find a way, and every other business that we work with has a different budget and a different belief system, but cybersecurity should never be questioned, and there should always be a budget for it. Trust me, there are some really expensive solutions, and there are some really cost-effective solutions that we can implement that can take care of your business without having to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Okay, I'd rather spend a few thousand versus 30,000, on a data breach, or 30 million or whatever, 3.9 million. It's the average cost of a data breach, $3.9 million. Any of you guys got $3.9 million laying around? I mean, because I sure don't. So, but this all comes back to your employees doing what they're supposed to do. So, cybersecurity awareness training, this training here today, should be shown to all your staff. They should all be required to listen to what I'm saying, because this is only going to get worse. We have to stay on top of cybersecurity. If we're not staying on top of cybersecurity, we're not protecting our network, we're not protecting our information. We're leaving our clients' information vulnerable and just out there for anyone to get a hold of. So, knowing how to identify potential threats to data privacy, understanding data handling practices should always be a responsibility. It should be a mandate. All right, I'm done with that spiel. Let's move on. Handle with care your data. That's what we're talking about here. Know and follow your organization's data retention policies. Data should be categorized and access to sensitive data should be restricted to those who need it. This is what we call the principle of least privilege, meaning we're going to give the minimum amount of privileges to people. So if they don't need access to something, they should not have access to it. Minimize the number of places where confidential data is stored and keep track of where those places are. Eliminate any unnecessary data according to your organization's policies. We have to set policies and rules and practices to protect our data. It's not all about an IT support group coming in with a bunch of fancy equipment to block traffic coming into a network. It's about managing that data internally through policies and procedures. And if you don't have policies and procedures, go ahead and give me a call. We'll get a consultation together. We'll set up some practices. We'll spread that across the company. We'll teach it till everyone knows what to do, and then we'll implement it across the board. That way we can minimize the number of places where that data is stored and eliminate any unnecessary data that we don't need. Okay? Very simple. Okay? A lot of people have, a few folders on, like, say, file server or wherever they're storing their data, whether it be a cloud file service or something like that. They have that folder labeled, administrative files, and then that folder is locked to only the people that need in there. And then there's a few subfolders, sales numbers, accounting data, and so those folders only you have to have access to get into administrative files, and then within administrative files, we can set access to what folders, who has access to each of the subfolders in there accordingly. Okay. Safeguard data. Secure important documents that could be stolen or copied. Dispose of confidential information by shredding or using software to permanently delete files from drives. Okay, so if you've got paper copies, this is for paper files too. Dispose of them if you don't need them. Okay, we have software that can erase and permanently delete files from drives if necessary. Portable devices like smartphones, laptops, or USB drives are easily lost or stolen. Ensure they are secured with strong, unique passwords in the event they land in the wrong hands. There's software out there that we can use to encrypt USB drives. Everyone seems to lose flash drives. Everyone. We have software that you can use to encrypt those drives so that if they are lost or stolen, at least they're secure. Get permission. Use only the devices, cloud services, and software approved by your organization when completing work-related tasks. It's fairly simple. If you're not supposed to be there, don't be there. Using unapproved applications or services could expose data, while connecting to your organization's network with an unapproved device could compromise the security of that network. So, if your personal cell phone is not supposed to be on company Wi-Fi, don't put it on company Wi-Fi. We, in any cybersecurity company or IT company, can actually restrict the devices that are connected to our network. We can restrict them. We can say, here's only these MAC addresses are approved to be on the network. Anything else, deny, deny, deny. We can set up that kind of stuff for business owners and companies. Okay, so using unapproved applications or services could expose data while connecting to your organization's network with an unapproved device could compromise the security of that network. Just keep that in mind. Okay, keep it separate. And this is a follow-up with the get permission. Keep personal and business tasks separate. Personal internet browsing should be done on personal devices to protect the organization's devices and network. And again, we've done this on multiple occasions where we restrict anything that the company does not allow. So we can go in and categorically filter out shopping websites. You can't get on Walmart.com or Amazon.com, and we can do it by user, by department, what have you. So we don't need everyone on Amazon.com, but maybe the logistics department or parts ordering department or whatever you want to call that department that orders things for the company. Maybe they need they need to order supplies off of Amazon. Well, we can give them access to it, but we can restrict everybody else's. All I'm saying is, if you're not supposed to be there, don't be there. Avoid using your business email to sign up for online services, newsletters, or social media, and never use the same credentials for multiple accounts to prevent credential theft. Because if you're using the same username and password for everything, then that gives the cyber criminals access to everything that you have. Okay? So avoid using your business email for that kind of stuff. Never use the same credentials. If you're having trouble keeping up with different usernames and different passwords, get a password manager. There's some free ones, there's some cheap ones. Get a password manager. It'll store all that information for you. Be cyber smart. In essence, update software and devices regularly to patch security vulnerabilities. Encrypt sensitive data before sending it via email, and learn how to identify threats that attempt to gain your trust to obtain information like phishing, insider threats, and social engineering. Let me be crystal clear on this. If we're your IT provider, these are some of the things we already do through our IT management program. It automatically processes those patch updates, Windows updates, and such. Okay. If you're not a client, this is something that we can do for you. And I'm not here trying to make a sales pitch, but if you need it, we can do it. And I'm going to go in on the next slide or two here and just go over briefly what some of our some of the things that we do are. So this is how we help companies with cybersecurity. We provide a managed antivirus with an integrated firewall. We provide clients with VPN routers and managed firewalls. We have a few different vendors that we use, SonicWall, Fortinet, and a few others. So we figure out which solution is going to be the most cost effective for your network, but also that does the job it needs to do. Okay, we're not going to compromise security over the cost of a device. All right. We monitor our clients' networks for unusual and suspicious network activity. We provide a rapid response to security alerts via our dedicated systems analyst. Our intrusion detection and intrusion prevention systems are amongst the best. Okay. We do not go for the lower end stuff. We have options for mid-range to high-end equipment to ensure the best security that we can for our clients. I always advise all of our clients to consult with CTS prior to purchasing any new devices or equipment. We will do all the research to make sure that it is good, that it's a good option, and even propose additional things you can do to protect your infrastructure. So CTS is always looking out for you. And a lot of our clients purchase directly through us, and that's great because that eliminates a lot of the research, because we sell and promote products that we already have the data sheets for and the information that we need. We have a new, what we call CyberBlock program. It's a more comprehensive cybersecurity package. So generally we provide a managed antivirus, and we'll do a vulnerability assessment and things like that. We'll look at we always provide we can provide a patch management report. We can provide a cybersecurity report that has, virus threats detected, threats eliminated, things like that. So we have some of this already in our program, but we wanted to incorporate a few extra things, such as our incident response program management. So now we sit down with our clients under this system, if you're enrolled in it. And we sit down and come up with a response plan for various scenarios. If my system is hacked, we do this, 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 and this immediately. What do we start activating? Do we need to start activating data recovery systems to restore backups because of a threat or an incident that occurred? And so on and so forth. So there's a lot of extra things that we do now. So our CyberBlock system includes IT audit management, real-time threat identification and alerts, which we already have with every client, incident response program management, our cybersecurity systems and social awareness training, which we have the cybersecurity systems. We are adding the social awareness training, regular company-wide phishing tests, that's pretty new, comprehensive threat notifications, that's already been there, internal and external vulnerability scans. We conduct those once a year. This program includes those to be done on a quarterly basis. Intrusion detection and prevention systems, that's always been optional. We now will include that with this system. System hardening baselines, that's already been there, but we've enhanced it. Detailed cybersecurity specific reports, that's already been included, and recommended IT policies has always been an option, but now it comes included into that system. So just a few things about our new CyberBlock system and how we've taken the different strategies that we have that are out there, and we've combined them into one unique system and one unique protocol. Thank you for listening to me ramble and talk about cybersecurity over the last half hour. I hope that you've found this information enlightening. This was generally this month's presentation was targeted to be kind of a broad overview of cybersecurity and just make you more aware of phishing because of the threats that phishing poses. If you have any questions, you can reach out to our sales team, sales@ctslubbock.com. If you are a client and you want to submit a ticket, you can always use the Pulseway ticket tool or submit an email to ticketrequest@ctslubbock.com. Our phone number is 806-701-5353. Again, my name is Patrick Dennis. I'm the president and CEO. You're more than welcome to reach out to me and ask, talk to me directly. And we're located at 2402 52nd Street, Suite 6 in Lubbock, Texas. And so if you have any questions or concerns, give us a call, shoot us an email. We'll be happy to respond. You can always reach Kaylee, our client success manager, Kaylee@ctslubbock.com. I didn't put that on there, but again, I'll repeat that, Kaylee@ctslubbock.com, and that is KALEIGH@ctslubbock.com. Thank you guys for your time. Have a good one.